All right, story time. So this is gonna be a completely different video than what I normally make. Uh, this is about what happened to me this past week, and that's all this is about. And it's also, I guess, about balance when traveling and listening to your body. So for the past 3 days, I've been in the hospital, and it was not fun. It was a really scary experience. Actually, on the way to take my stepfather and my mother to the airport so they could go back to America, I started to experience breathing problems. Now, the 2 days leading up to these breathing problems, I was having really severe lower back pain. So severe to the point where I would try and get out of bed and I wouldn't be able to do it. My back would be throbbing in pain, and everyone could hear it in the apartment because it was painful. Well, turns out a combination of dehydration and ibuprofen kidney punched me so hard that it took away my ability to actually get any real deep breaths, which I didn't know what was happening, so I didn't know why I couldn't breathe, and that set off panic attacks, which I've never had a panic attack before in my life. I have had some anxiety attacks back like in 2016, 2015, and also a little bit when I quit drinking, but I've never had a panic attack, and I couldn't understand why I couldn't breathe. And you know, when you can't breathe and you don't know what's wrong with you, you don't know what to think. And when I say I can't breathe, I mean, it was the scariest thing ever because they kept taking my oxygen levels and telling me, hey, you have air in your lungs, you're 98%, you're good. But the people who are supposed to be helping me are telling me that I can breathe, but I couldn't. And so it was a really scary thing. And I just remember that we were driving and I started to feel weird. I tried to yawn. If you've ever tried to yawn and you really can't get it all, and each time you try to yawn, you get less and less air. And that's what was happening as we were driving. And I asked Daisy to pull over, and I got out and I couldn't breathe, and it was getting worse and worse. And so we thought, yeah, just walk to the next intersection, get your blood flowing a little bit. You're just maybe having some sort of a panic attack. We don't know, but let's work it out. So I'm walking and it just gets worse and worse, and we decided to call the ambulance. The crazy thing is where we stopped, there was a giant cross there with Jesus on it. And I'm not going to turn this isn't going to be a religious channel. You know, it's not going to be something, I'm not going to try and push religion or anything like that on anybody. I don't believe pushing religion on people. I believe that if it's someone's way in their life to find a religion or their path, then it's on them to do that. So I'm just speaking of my experience of what happened. And in the past, I've done a lot of experimentation with like new age thought stuff, manifestation, and a lot of that is they teach you that you are the master of your own reality to an extent. Some people just go off the rails with it and believe that they're full-on God, and I've always spoken out against that because none of us here on earth are God. That's obvious, unless one of you are in disguise somewhere, who knows. But anyways, I found myself in front of this statue of all places. I mean, we didn't know it was there and we stopped, but I looked up and it was a moment where I realized that I knew what was happening with all this new age stuff that I've kind of promoted in the past, or this manifestation stuff that I've talked a lot about, you know. Really what it is, it's like it's a way of prayer. It's like you're trying to skirt around Jesus and do prayer without him. And I don't want to get into the technicalities of it and why I realized that I don't think that's right anymore. But look, I came to Jesus. or I should say he came to me when I was having breathing problems and I gave myself over. I was on my knees in front of that statue and I told that man, what do I need to do? Whatever, please help me. And I just realized in that moment, we can't do it all alone. We can't do it all by ourselves. And it was a powerful thing. The paramedics came, they told me, oh, you have enough air, you're just having a panic attack. I calmed down a little bit, despite my breathing not being 100%, and got in the car because I wanted to see it through to take my parents to Frankfurt and say goodbye to them. And got to the hotel after having to stop a lot of the way to Frankfurt, which was like a 3-hour drive. I think we stopped like 6 times so I could get out, get some fresh air. The seatbelt made me feel suffocated, so I couldn't wear it throughout the whole drive. We got to the hotel, I was trying to eat, but I felt like I was just gonna pass out. It wasn't right. And then the next morning we took my parents to the airport. We went home, and that night, you know, it was bad, and we said, okay, I'll go to the doctor tomorrow because I can still breathe. I think it's panic attacks. And like I said, I've never really experienced panic attacks, so I thought, wow, panic attacks are really bad, but I'll be okay. So the next day we go to the doctor, and he cracks my back a little bit. He's a chiropractor as well. It helped a little bit. He said, oh, you should be fine. So psychologically, I trusted him, and I said, okay, you said it's just my back. I'll go home. You say in a couple hours I'll feel fine. It did feel a little bit better. I had an okay night, but the next morning I woke up. I was supposed to do a 24-hour EKG, and it just hit me really hard and I couldn't breathe. It was almost just as hard as the first day. And we went to the hospital, you know, after being a human pincushion and running a bunch of tests. It turned out that the ibuprofen that I was taking is basically called acetaminophen. It's this powder ibuprofen that you put into water and you mix it so that it acts quicker. And you know, these videos that we record, I do those, we record those mostly in 1 day's time. So all that is running around, and I had really accredited my back issues to that, but in reality it was dehydration and taking this ibuprofen. And in the last few days of my parents being here, we were go, and I thought it was, you know, me sleeping on the couch so that they could have the bed is why I had a bad back, but that's not it. And I just want to say I'm super thankful to be here. You know, I came out on a completely different way. I came out on a different end. You know, I was one person before this happened, and I'm a completely different person now, and it's a really good thing. And I just want to use this video to express how thankful I am. I was always thankful to be alive. I was always thankful to have this ability to make these videos and to have the equipment and the drone and all this kind of stuff. Even when I didn't have this equipment, I was making videos with the cell phone, and I was thankful to be able to do that. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff that I realized that I was really, I still wasn't the person that I needed to be. I still acted out too quickly or made decisions a little too quickly. Maybe I got too angry too quickly. And a lot of that, most of it, no, 100% of that is my own fault, you know, because we can't control how other people act, but we can always control how we react. And that was kind of like a big lesson of mine. Life is temporary, and I always knew that. We all know that, you know. I mean, and I've had my scares before. This is not my first scare. It's not the first time I've been in the hospital, but it's probably the worst one, because, you know, it was 3 days of struggling to breathe, and the doctor's telling you that you're okay, but then you're not, because it's your kidneys. And then when I got the news that it was my kidneys, you know, that's scary too. But the good news, everything's fine. I'm okay. Everything's normalizing out. And I'm just so thankful and happy, and I'm ready to get back in the groove. And you know what? I want some suggestions from you guys. I want to know from you guys, what can I do, or what can you suggest, or what would you like to see me do to make these videos better? You know, because a lot of the things about YouTube is, it's YouTube, and as cheesy as this is gonna sound, YouTube is all about putting you in the videos, you know. And I'm starting to feel like I haven't really shown you guys my true side yet. You know, I've shown you some history and some cool stuff here in Germany and Europe, but I want to put a little bit more of my heart into the channel as well, and I want to connect with you guys. You know, I just that's something that I really want to do, and that's one of the things that's special for me about YouTube. And I guess here's my chance. So for anybody who's ever watched any of my videos, thank you so much for, you know, for, even though there's not like thousands and millions of views or subscribers, I'm just so thankful for every comment that I get, for every view, for every subscriber, for every like. Even if someone just clicks on the video and sees it for 10 seconds, they gave it a little chance. I'm so thankful for that, just to have that opportunity, because there are so many people in this world that they just don't get that. So thank you guys.